So let's move forward and come even closer to home for you here in Stockholm. All of those people who you can see, they may not know it, but they're participating in a giant natural experiment. And the world is watching with great interest to see what becomes of them. One of the disappointments for me when the epidemic hit was this lack at a global level of a coordinated response as countries blamed each other for what was going on. And then countries each took their own decision on how they would respond. Some went for strict lockdown straight away, and some for just a happy-go-lucky denial that anything was happening. Sweden stood out. It chose a policy that was based largely on guidance and on information, informing citizens, rather than on laying down the law in the way that was done in other countries, including my own. It will be some time before we can make any definitive judgments on the outcome of this experiment, though all sides are already drawing conclusions that categorically support the view that they had before any of this started. The right love the way laissez-faire policies in Sweden are being given the lead. The left look instead at the way Swedes have shown this great social solidarity, this sense of community, looking at the same data but drawing very different conclusions. But I think what we can say is that compared to its Nordic neighbours, there hasn't been a miracle here. By the beginning of this month, Sweden had registered nearly twice as many cases as Norway, Finland and Denmark combined, and nearly 5 times as many deaths. And on a wider scale, the difference is less extreme, but still Sweden doesn't perform overly well. Among advanced Western nations, only the US has seen more cases per million population than Sweden, and on deaths per capita, only Spain, the UK and Italy scored worse. 2 important points in Sweden's favour. One is that because of the more relaxed approach, there's been less need for fiscal resources to be spent on rescuing companies and citizens, which stands the fiscal accounts in good stead. I mean, just to give an example, on average among advanced Western nations, countries have spent about nearly a quarter of their GDP in fiscal support packages. Sweden's deficit this year will be around 4%. So it gives you an indication of the difference in the burden that this has placed on Sweden. The other thing is the question of civil liberties. Sweden has handed some of the authority for decision making and policy from the government to the scientific community, to the epidemiologists. And this again is in stark contrast with what's happened in many other countries.